Yeah, I'm Mike Maiden. I'm Chief Executive of Staffordshire West Midlands Probation Trust, and we are one of the two pilot areas for the Community Payment by Results project, and that will be a project based, geographically based, in which we transfer the majority of what we do in that geographical area to our special purpose vehicle, which we'll set up with a partner, which we're currently in the process of selecting. We are still in the process of designing the pilot, and we will only go ahead if we're convinced that it will make a difference to the outcomes that we seek. We are not in business to just play with pilots, play with projects. We're in business to improve outcomes, and we absolutely are looking for a partnership in which what we do can be supplemented by another organisation which brings other skills, new resources, so that we can improve outcomes. And if we find that that is not likely to happen, then we'll think again about the design of the pilot or whether we're involved with the pilot. Yeah, there are two senses in which outcomes are important to us. The first and most obvious is that we do reduce reoffending, and in order to do that we've got to have a sophisticated look at what that means. We're aware that politicians, for reasons that are quite understandable, are wedded to the binary measure of somebody either reoffends or they don't, and we can quite see why that's important. But what we will also do is monitor the other areas that inform a view on reoffending, which are around the frequency of reoffending and the seriousness of reoffending. And through the pilot we hope to develop a sophisticated view of what is actually working and how it's working, what it's influencing and why it's influencing that. We have very, very good results on reducing reoffending in the Trust, but we would be lying if we said that we have a really clear idea what links to what in terms of input and outcome. Through the pilot we're going to work on a more sophisticated view of that. But there are other outcomes as well that are important to us. We do work in a fairly bureaucratic environment. We're very keen to use the pilot to see how we can break out of some of those bureaucratic limitations through developing a special purpose vehicle and working in a way that's more innovative, more engaging for staff, in which they feel liberated to use their professional judgment and their skill to the best advantage. And perhaps finally, and fairly self-evidently, at the end of the day there may be, if we're successful, a financial outcome as well. So on all three levels we're looking to push forward what we've done as a trust in terms of reducing reoffending to new levels and to new levels of effectiveness. We are very keen to place ourselves in a position of shaping the future. Payment by Results is not just around for criminal justice and for the probation service, but across a wide range of government activity. So we want to be part of that, and we want to shape the thinking on that. So that's a very important outcome for us. And then we clearly want to use it in order to improve the effectiveness of our work with offenders, and also with our partners. Part of the reason why we've chosen a geographical space for our Payment by Results pilot is so that we can work very closely with partners, the police, the local authorities and others, to make this not just a two-way street, ourselves and our partner within the PBR special purpose vehicle, but actually a multi-side street, if you can have one of those, in which actually a whole range of partners are working together to understand what works and to implement more effective solutions. We are concerned in certain ways about PBR. It's unformed at the moment, it's untested, but it is a pilot. So whilst we have concerns about the amount of freedom we'll actually have to operate innovatively, the amount of commercial freedom we will have in practice, the way in which our staff will react to certain new ways of working and so on, all the kind of unknowns that are inevitable in a new project. Because it's a pilot, we feel confident that we can push forward with this, and we can raise issues as we go. The MOJ and NOMS describe this as co-creation, and we would say that is a genuine situation. We are co-creating something, and where we have concerns, we've been able to raise those, have intelligent conversations with officials about those issues, and largely resolve them to our satisfaction. So using the pilot, we can both shape the future and offset some of the risks and some of our concerns as we go. I think going to scale with PBR is an interesting challenge, because if it works, it's clearly going to cost money. Now, that money can be made available in an ideal world through reducing demand on other parts of the system. For us, classically, it would be the ability to close down prison space and perhaps even whole prisons. But it's a fair jump from where we are now to being able to actually close down a whole prison wing or a whole prison, and release significant resource to be able to go on investing. I think we've got to be a little circumspect about that, and we've got to use the PBR process to learn what is actually working, and then have mature discussions later about the best way in which that can be rolled out. Some of that, no doubt, I would think no doubt at all, will be linked to payment by results. But to think that payment by results is the only way we're going to do things, I think is probably naive, because we're going to have to find, government is going to have to find a fairly significant amount of money if that was the way forward. I guess it's going to be a mixed economy of some payment by results to incentivise change, to incentivise innovation and development, alongside more perhaps traditional ways of resourcing, things that are learned from the pilots and from elsewhere in terms of what work's being funded in more traditional ways.